Hey everybody, Tim here with today's review of Doctor Who, story number 26, The Savages. I feel like I would have really liked this story if it had been intact, but because all 4 episodes are missing, I did give it a little bit of a lower score, just because it's hard for me to get into these storylines. Like, it's really difficult for me to just listen to it and figure out what's going on. Which is not, like, the story's fault. The story could have been great. I mean, it could have been, like, a 9 out of 10 or something. But I have to, like, go by my recommendation on, like, listening to it rather than watching it. So that's why it does get a little bit of a lower score. This episode, or this storyline, is also where the episodes start just having all the same title. So all of the storylines before this have had individual titles for every single episode. Starting with this one is where they're all just part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, etc. that last through all of the original classic Doctor Who story or TV show. So I think that's kind of interesting. So, from the very beginning, Dodo is giving Steven a hard time about doing whatever the Doctor says, because the Doctor tells them to stay put, and Dodo's like, well, why don't we go? And Steven's like, no, the Doctor told us to stay here. Oh, you do everything the Doctor tells you? And it's kind of, she's being antagonistic and just kind of driving a wedge there that didn't really need to be there. So, overall, this episode is about, like, this planet that's far in the future and far away. It basically has 2 civilizations. One is the advanced part of the civilization, which is the Elders, and then it's the Savages, who basically just live in the caves. Now, first we meet the Elders, and, like, everything seems to be going great. They're giving us presents, and they know about the Doctor. They actually welcome them and expected him, which I think they said, like, we've been watching you for light years. Light years is distance, not time. So that kind of bugged me, if I heard it correctly. And I was like, okay, so no, you guys are not that smart. And sure enough, as things can progress, everybody starts suspecting the Elders of being, like, not as good as they seem. And sure enough, it turns out that the Elders send people out, capture the Savages, and drain their life force. And they use that energy to basically power their city, keep the people healthy, stuff like that. So when the Doctor finds this out, he tries to stop them, and in doing so, they decide to just use his energy. And they're like blown away by how powerful his energy is and stuff like that. And the main character, or the main guy of that city, tries to, like, take the life force and put it inside him. Jano tries to put the life force inside him, which actually changes his personality. So he starts becoming a little bit more moral than he was previously. In the meantime, Steven and Dodo leave the city and actually meet with the Savages, and they're basically like, we're here to help you. Like, what they're doing to you is not right. So they end up finding the Doctor, who can't move, can't talk, can't do anything. He's super weak. And they bring the Doctor over to meet the Savages, and they all just kind of come up with this plan about how to get the Savages to fight back. Well, Jano, with still having, like, this personality crisis, ends up kind of agreeing with them, and so everybody agrees to just try to build a brand new society. And they need, like, this peace treaty, this mediator, to kind of negotiate between the two. And the Doctor's like, you know who'd be good at this? Steven. And he basically voluntold Steven to stay put and be that middleman. And so Steven ends up staying behind. So we lose that companion. Overall, I think it was an interesting story. It could have been, if I could actually see it rather than just listening to it, it could have been so much better. But overall, I would say it was just an okay storyline. So for those who have seen this one, what did you guys think? For those who have read the novelization, what did you think? Go ahead, let me know, and I will see you guys next time for The War Machines.